Today's lunch inspiration is for my big kids. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Kiera if you are new, and today's video we are talking about adult lunch inspiration. So I must say that one thing that Jake is a little sad about after graduating high school is missing his mama's lunches. He talks about it all the time, and he's forever asking me, even while working, when he could just get food out or something like that. He still asks me to prepare his lunches. He's even been doing his own grocery shopping and bringing me a bunch of things and saying, here, make a lunch out of this. And he's just been enjoying that so much. And of course, whenever I get the opportunity to send my husband with some kind of meal, I do my best to send him with something as well. So I do have a wide variety of lunches to share, but this time I'm going to throw in a little bit of something different. So this video is sponsored by EveryPlate, but you guys know that thanks to EveryPlate, I avoid going out most of the time. And so my husband and I are going away for the weekend this weekend. When you guys are seeing this, we are away. And so it made sense for me to rely on something like EveryPlate so that we don't have to eat out while we're on the road. And the people who are staying home don't have to eat out as well because we're not here. So thank you to an affordable home delivery kit that would bail me out in this kind of situation. So I'm going to share with you 3 recipes that we are taking with us on the road or leaving at home, but I also still have some of those adult lunches to share. So the first lunch that I have for you is one that I prepared for Daryl. I made some tuna and meal prep, and I knew I wanted to put together a lunch for him. So I started him off with a bag of those Cheez-It Snaps. He absolutely loves them, and I get the big bag from Sam's Club. And then here is the tuna fish that I made in meal prep. I put it on a hoagie roll that I got from the Dollar Tree with a couple of slices of white American cheese. He absolutely loved it. This was the blueberry muffin top cookies that we got from Sprouts, so I gave him 2 of those. I also gave him an orange. He really enjoys eating that at work, he said. It just, like eating a segment at a time, just abides the time, makes it go faster. And then I put a side of tortellini pasta salad that I had made in meal prep also. So I can link that video if you guys want to check out those recipes. Otherwise, this was a nice and easy, simple lunch that Daryl enjoyed. And now for a lunch for Jacob, we had those nice hearty hot dogs that we get from Sam's Club. Those are the ones that they actually sell right in their concession stand inside in their food court. And so Jake wanted to be able to take some of those hot dogs to work. So I gave him 2 of them. This was a 10-hour shift for my kid. He's been really doing amazing at work. So he took 2 of the hot dogs, and I even gave him like a little side of ketchup that he would be able to use to dunk his hot dogs in or put on top. I gave him an orange, and then in this little container I gave him like a bunch of little snacks. So I gave him some of the Tillamook zero sugar beef jerky. I gave him some of the milk chocolate covered pretzels from Trader Joe's. He also has a Annie's fruit snack and then a Kirkland chewy protein bar. And then I also gave him on the side some of the Ruffles fiery cheddar potato chips. And that was it for Jake's lunch on this day. Now we're getting into our first meal, and this is one of the ones by EveryPlate. Now, if you guys watch me and this isn't your first video, then you know I share recipes from them all of the time with or without sponsorship. I rely on them so much. I absolutely love how family friendly their meals are with such a wide variety, and they're so budget friendly. You are not going to find another meal kit delivery service out there that has such a catered menu to suit all of your different eating lifestyles at the kind of cost that EveryPlate offers. And not just their standard offering, they're even allowing me to give you guys an even better deal. So if you try out their service, you can get your first box for just $1.79 a meal, and then your next 2 boxes are only 20% off. This is the most affordable kit out there anyway. There are no meal kits that beat the variety and the cost that this kit offers. Plus, it's a sister company to HelloFresh, so you know that you're getting quality products sent to your door. So make sure you guys go into the description box and click that link and get yourself your first box. You cannot beat that. You can cancel at any time, but how you never will. I never have. I'm on my 3rd year of using them. I tried them one time with a free box and I've never gone back. So definitely make sure you guys give Every Plate a try and you're going to see why I use them. Right now, the ingredients you see: mayo, garlic, potatoes, buns, onions, cheese, which is optional. I added that, and ground beef is all it's going to take for us to make an extremely delicious caramelized onion burger with roasted potato wedges that I'm going to be able to bring on the road with me to our vacation. So I'm super excited about that because it made the worry for me less of what I'm going to have for Paul and for Jake and for those who are staying home to eat. So I started off by taking all of the potatoes and cutting them in half and then making 4s out of each of the halves. So I had 8 potato wedges out of every potato. You guys, they gave you 10 potatoes for 4 servings. That's 80 potatoes. That's crazy to me. It is so much food. I feel like you get more than what their portions are anyways, but I went ahead and got those potato wedges done. I put them on a sheet pan with salt, pepper, a little olive oil, and a sprinkle of that garlic. And then I took those thinly sliced onions and I put them in a frying pan with some olive oil till you can see that they started to get brown and soft. And then I added in 2 tablespoons of sugar and a half a cup of water. You guys, the sugar and water will really jellify and turn any veggie into like that good, yummy, caramelized, jammy texture. Now we're going to take some mayo. We're going to put that on the side. We're going to add our leftover garlic that we didn't add to the potatoes and some Worcestershire sauce. Now the recipe calls for wasabi, but my family doesn't like that. So I just put those jammy onions and that little Worcestershire garlic aioli kind of sauce that I made off to the side. And then I put salt, pepper, ground beef, and a little bit of olive oil into a bowl and mixed it up. And that's all that we're going to need for our burgers. So in that very same pan that we made that caramelized jammy onion mixture, we're going to separate that meat mixture into 4 sections, make some nice burgers. And then that was it, you guys. I ended up melting the mozzarella cheese on top of the burgers, and then I opened up those buns. I smeared a little bit of that aioli on the bottom. I put our cheesy burger on top, a little bit of those jammy onions, and then each container off to the side, you'll see I have 2 individual portions. Each container got the proper amount of potato wedges with 1 burger. That will be a dinner for both Jake and Paul while we're gone. And then in the other container, I put 2 burgers and some potato wedges, and I thought that would be something really yummy for Daryl and I to come back from our event to our hotel room and have something to eat. We did check, and our room has a microwave, so I thought that would be perfect. We can just nuke that in the microwave and we'll end up having 2 really scrumptious burgers and some potato wedges. Now I'm going to jump back here to another lunch for the hubby. And in this one, I did croissant sandwiches for both Daryl and Jake. So you'll see how I set them up individually. So for Daryl, this is what the sandwiches look like. I did 2 different slices of cheese on the top and bottom. And then I did some ham and a little bit of mayo on a toasted croissant. And both of them really, really enjoyed that. These are the strawberry shortcake granola bars I made in some meal prep. So I gave Daryl one of those. These are those chocolate-filled croissants that I get from Costco. I usually freeze the ones that we don't use. I just defrosted some. I added one of those cherry fruit cocktail cups for Daryl, the Ritz Cracker Balanced Breaks, and then a little package of the Veggie Puffs white cheddar. So this was Daryl's lunch for this day. And then here is Jacob's lunch. So again, in this package back here, he has the same thing, that croissant sandwich with the 2 slices of cheese and then the ham and mayo, and I toasted it. They really like the fact that I made it warm like that. And then for the rest of his sides, he has some of that Tillamook beef jerky. He has a cheese stick. He has one of those Annie's fruit snacks in the strawberry flavor. And then he also has a Rice Krispie treat. I've been making them quite often at home with different flavors of extract. So he really enjoyed that. All right, now we're going to bounce back to another Every Plate meal. And this is one of the ones I was so excited about trying. So this is a Greek diner style pork meatloaf. I've never had a meatloaf with pork in it before, but the Greek style, so we're using feta cheese and Greek dressing with oregano and pepper and potatoes and pork. Like, this is so easy. This is seriously the simplest recipe ever. So we're going to start off first by dicing our potatoes, our green pepper, and our garlic. And then once we've diced up everything, we're going to go ahead and assemble the potatoes onto a sheet pan. One thing you're always going to want to do is use olive oil and salt and pepper on every step, but I never realized how simple and easy it was to make really good roasted potatoes at home. As long as your oven is set to like 450 degrees and you use enough oil and seasonings, you can make the best roasted potatoes that come out crispy and divine. And the oregano on these potatoes, who knew that oregano with salt and pepper would make the best roasted potatoes? So now in 3 tablespoons of ketchup, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of that Greek dressing and mix that together. The Greek dressing and that ketchup was so good. I've never done that before. All right, so Every Plate does something really interesting. If you don't have breadcrumbs, in lieu of that, you can just soften some regular bread and mix it up. So we took 2 slices of bread, 4 tablespoons of water, and then the rest of the Greek dressing that they supplied, which was about a quarter cup of dressing. And then we added in the oregano and the feta cheese, and we mixed all of that together, and it made like a really yummy breadcrumb kind of filling. We added all of the chopped up garlic that we had left, and you're going to add your pork mixture to that, and it made such a flavorful smelling meatloaf. Now, I made this on a Friday for Lent, so I didn't get a chance to try it. I'm really looking forward to eating it while we're out on the road, but it's amazing how just using bread and softening it like that can be in lieu of breadcrumbs. That was such a shock to me. Every Plate has definitely taught me that over the years. So once you mix all of that together, like, who knew feta and Greek dressing inside of a pork meatloaf? I don't know. This was all so new to me, but I went ahead and made like 4 loaf style little mini meatloaves out of the meat that we had. And then you're taking the potatoes out. They definitely got a good start. They were in there for about 10 minutes and they started to soften. And then you're going to go ahead and make little holes in your potatoes to go ahead and stick your little mini meatloaf. I even tried a few of the potatoes and they were already starting to get tender, and that oregano was so super flavorful. And then now you're going to add some of your peppers and layer them on the inside. Definitely was more pepper than needed. And then you're going to take your ketchup and you're going to put that on top of your meatloaf and then sprinkle it with feta and stick it back in the oven for another 15 minutes. This, I just knew. I could just smell how dynamite this was going to come out. And then it came out and it was like that. And I was like, oh my God, I want to eat this so bad right now. But like I said, I am super looking forward to being able to give this a try. But I took out a big Tupperware, and this is the other piece of our like meals that we're going to bring out on the road. So I put 2 little meatloaves and some potatoes in that big container. And then in the smaller containers, I packed, again, 1 meatloaf and then a little batch of those roasted potatoes. And I'm going to put 1 aside for Paul and then 1 aside for Jake. And then that'll be another meal for them, or whether it be a lunch or a dinner for them to have while we are gone. Back to another lunch for Daryl, and on this particular day, Daryl was going to have a extremely long day at work. He was leaving super early in the morning and he would be back kind of late, and so I packed him a little bit of a breakfast and a lunch. So up top, you'll see a breakfast taco that I made for him. I just did a little bit of eggs and cheese and some leftover bacon that we had in the fridge, and I just grilled it up like a quesadilla. I wrapped it up in some tin foil, and that's the orange juice that we got from Sam's Club Club, but they were juicing right there. So I put that in one of those little home bottles that we've been using for the kids, and he took that as like a breakfast. And then down below, I used one of those sub rolls and some steak that we had left over from dinner, and I kind of made like a Quiznos sub. So I made the bread garlic bread, and then I put some of the steak and some cheese, and I put it in the toaster oven on broil, and I let it get all melty, and I put that in a tin foil for his like main course. And then I did give him one of those Ritz cracker balance breaks. I cut up a Honey Crisp apple for him, and I put that in a side container. I gave him one of the raspberry flavored Rice Krispie treats that I made, and then I also gave him one of those strawberry shortcake granola bars. He really enjoys them. He says he thinks that they're better than the ones in the store. So I'll give myself a little pat on the back for those, but that is what he had for lunch on this day. Another lunch for Daryl, and you can tell that sometimes I rely a lot on leftovers. I find that Jake is kind of tired of the leftovers, and he's been doing a lot of his own eating out or buying pre-portioned salads from Walmart and stuff, doing his own grocery shopping. So I don't have as many clips of his lunches as I would like, but my husband is like the king of leftovers. He will take them all of the time. So that is my pot pie that I make. I have a cooking video for that, so I can link it up above if you guys want to check it out. But that is a slice of the pot pie that I made. He has some of those Cheez-It snaps. I cut up some strawberries and put that in a container for him. He has some of the balance breaks, but that's the Wheat Thins one. It's just different cheeses or different crackers. Those were the two types, Wheat Thins and Ritz. And then when I went to Louisiana, I went to that bakery and they had those lemon pies. So I cut them in half and everybody tried like a few different pieces. So I gave him half of the lemon pie and then one of the chocolate chip cookies that we got from Sprouts. I froze them and then I defrosted some, and I had given him some of those. So we had a cookie and one of those lemon pies, and I think I said Cheez-Its. All right, we're on to our last meal from Every Plate, and this one just blew my mind because this was like penne alla vodka without vodka, add bacon, if that makes any sense. But I'm fine with that. You can take the vodka out and give me all the bacon. So this was a creamy tomato bacon penne. And do you see what's here? Now this is a 3 portion because I ordered a 4 and a 2. It's pasta and I wanted to go far. But do you see what's here? Wait till you see the meal that we're going to make with this simple ingredients. We have some marinara sauce. We have some bacon, some penne, some Roma tomatoes, some garlic, tomato paste, cream cheese, garlic powder, and Parmesan cheese. That is it, you guys. And simple, oh my, so simple. So here is that bacon that we had. I put that in a pan and I got that all crispy because you want that off to the side to crumble. And then in a pot of boiling water, I threw in that penne. So now that's going to cook. The bacon's done. I put it on a paper towel on a plate. You really want that to cool so that you can crisp it. And I removed most of the bacon grease and left a thin layer. And then on the bottom, you're going to add in your Roma tomatoes that you diced, your thinly sliced garlic, and you're going to let that cook down just 2 to 3 minutes. But now you're going to add in your tomato paste and your garlic powder and about a half a cup of that pasta water. So I took it right from the pot while it was cooking, and then once that started to cook down, now you're going to add in your marinara sauce, and then you're going to add in your cream cheese. And that cream cheese worked as the heavy cream that you would normally put in a penne. So this gave it that orangey, creamy, almost like tomato bisque. It was so stinking delicious, and the thinly sliced pieces of garlic with a nice chunk of tomato that stewed down a little bit but not completely was perfect. So once that pasta came out of that salted water, we drained it, added it back to the pot, added our sauce, mixed that through, and I added half the bacon and half the Parmesan cheese. I went ahead and mixed that all together, and then I brought back out that Tupperware that I set for Daryl and I with the 2 meatloafs and the diced potatoes, and I threw some of that pasta in there. So now him and I are completely set. And then I put the rest inside of this bowl for everybody else to have. I took the bacon that was left over and I crumbled that up and divided it between the bowl I was leaving home for the family and the Tupperware that Daryl and I were taking. I did the same thing with the Parmesan cheese. I divided that both between the container that Daryl and I were taking and the container that I was leaving home, and then I covered that up and put it aside. So I left pasta, meatloaf, and burgers for Jake and for Paul to eat all weekend long. So they will not want for anything. And then Daryl and I, all we need is forks and a microwave, and we are good to go on our travels. So I am, again, as always, super appreciative to every plate, but I'm also appreciative to you guys for always coming back and supporting me when I share sponsored content, or just supporting me and my family in general. You guys are always rallying for us, and I love you guys so much for it. But I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. I love giving you guys a side of what I pack the older ones. I definitely pack both Daryl and Jacob a lot different than I pack the little kids, so I enjoy sharing with you guys that side of it. But I really do enjoy sharing with you the meal kits, just because a lot of times you can just take some of the ideas that I bring to you guys and use them for inspiration at home. Every time I talk to my girlfriends and I let them know of a meal that I just made, or they see a picture that I took, or I share with them something that I cooked up from every plate, they always say like, that's a really good idea. You know what? I think I'm gonna try that. So all of this is just for inspiration, to light that little fire or give you a little spark of creativity of something to do different in your kitchen that you haven't done before. But all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching another video. Make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Click that link below and check out every plate. Subscribe if you are new. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.